Welcome, everybody. It is another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Rock and Roll Matty Goldberg. What's up, boys?
What's up, fellas?
I'm coming from you from LAX, heading to Las Vegas in about an hour.
Going to the worst airport I've ever been to. I
Really?
hate
You've
that.
never been to New Jersey, Newark?
No, I have not.
Yeah,
no, I have not.
It's a great
I'm
one
pretty
if
nervous.
you ever want to hate life.
Matty, what are you nervous about?
I haven't flown in years, so it'll be weird to be high up in the air, high in the sky.
When did you fly last? When you last went to Vegas?
Yeah, I think that was 2021 or something. So it's been about 3 years since I've been on a flight.
Okay.
So
Finally
the nerves are
going.
going,
You've been talking about
Yeah.
this trip for like months now, it feels like.
and it's here.
Are we going to get live updates?
Finally. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll
Thank
send you a
God.
lot of videos, a lot of poker videos. I'm playing a $500 tournament tomorrow. I'm nervous.
Hey!
Part of the World Series of Poker. We'll see
We should
what
get
I'm
him.
made of.
You should have gotten a sports hole like badge to put on your shirt for it.
I know. Well, hopefully I'll make it far, but if I don't, I don't. So
Yeah, well, we're all rooting for you, Matty.
I appreciate it, boys. And you're gonna be out here in a couple of days, so
I will see you. Yeah, I just booked my flight today.
Nice.
Frontier, so it starts out, at like $23, and by the end you're paying about $300 after you
Oh yeah, they
pay for
get you on
human
these weird
experiences.
charges.
Well, it's like $50 for a bag, $100 to use the toilet. It's just kind of adds up.
Oh yeah, they get you.
They get you, but oh well. I kind of want to drive, but it's not a super scenic drive. But maybe one day when I go to Death Valley, I will.
It's a boring ass drive.
Flight.
Yeah,
It's a fast flight.
and there's a back.
Very
I'm coming
fast.
from Palm Springs too, which is an even more remote ass drive. Like there's
Oh.
no one around. So I kind of want to do it just to see, but one day, but not this week. Oh, Jim, what's going on with you?
Living life to the fullest. We're coming at the end of the regular season for the UFL, so I've been bracing myself to like come to terms with my season ending.
Oh,
there's
no,
only
football finally ends for Jim.
CFL starting up in like 3 or 4
Oh, never
weeks.
mind,
Yeah.
folks.
No, CFL starting up,
Yep.
Luke. So don't worry about that. Preseason CFL has already begun, but the UFL, my true love, is coming to an end. We only have this week, then the first round of the playoffs, and then I'm heading to St. Louis.
St. Louis,
Has there
baby.
been any standout players? Because I
There's
haven't
been a
watched
few.
1 minute of this league.
There's been a few. Actually, surprisingly, Adrian Martinez has looked really, really good in this league as a quarterback. And then I would say
Do you think he's going to transfer back to Nebraska after this season?
That'd be hilarious. I would. Oh God, please no.
He has
I'd
5
say
more years of eligibility.
The two standout positions, funny enough, the biggest standout position has probably been the level of kicking in the league. Like so many of the kickers are really good. There's been multiple kickers that have hit multiple like 50+ yard kicks. We've already had one kicker hit like 3 60+ yard kicks. So kicking has been crazy. Yeah. Gates.
Like the guy for the Cowboys played in those leagues last year. He was awesome for the Cowboys. So that's the one spot that you can make a spot in the NFL.
Even if you couldn't make the NFL, just doing the UFL kicking for a career would be probably pretty nice, where you're just kicking for like $60,000 a season.
Yeah, and you can still hold a day job too.
Exactly.
Like you could go be a financial advisor or something.
Boys, I'll be right back. So talk about UFL. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Where are you going, Matty?
I have to use the can.
That
Matty,
never
it's
changes.
bad enough you're in a
That
fucking
never
airport.
changes.
Now bring us in there. Just bring us in there,
I'll
Matty.
be back
Don't
in
worry.
2 minutes.
That's okay.
I'll be keeping a timer.
I want to see you hooking up with a Republican senator in the
that'd be
bathroom
hot.
there.
So
UFL it's been great though. You've been happy with the season?
As far as like a rush job, season 1 going, it's better than season 1 of the XFL last year. It's better than season 1 of the USFL 2 years ago. I think it's even better than season 2 of the USFL last year. The level of play is probably at the level or higher than we had in 2020. Especially
By the way,
for
I
the
like
rush.
how you call it like season 2, like it's Stranger Things or something.
No, we had season 2 of the USFL last year.
No, I know, but the fact like you would never go like NFL season
We have to do that.
100.
We have to do that for these leagues right now, Luke.
I guess you're right to put it in context, and then the goal is to get to a place where you stop saying season names.
Right now, the goal is year 5, and they've talked about potential. They've talked about trying to secure ownership for teams, which is promising. The big thing that I'm looking for now that people are starting to look towards the off season and look towards the future of the UFL. We're looking just for stability. I'm looking for them to not have seasonal hiring. I feel like you need to have marketing people and local people in all your markets year round pushing the league and doing promotions.
Commit to the product, don't
there is a worry that they're
Uber
doing
for
seasonal
positions.
hiring.
Yeah,
which
I don't think that's good. I mean, I guess they're doing what they got to do in the beginning here, but it's hard to take seriously when you're making moves like that.
And I've seen some people say they need to move teams out of some markets. I don't agree with that. I think you need to show stability. You can't even the weak markets, Detroit was weak this year, but also there was rumblings behind the scenes that they were one of the worst markets for the local marketing agency and the groups that they had doing that. They were one of the latest teams to get tickets pushed out. There was a whole bunch of reasons for why a lot of these.
They should get the marketing team from the Detroiters.
Yes.
Or the ad team? Have you ever watched that show?
I have not.
Tim Robinson.
Oh, I've heard of it though. I have heard of it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic sitcom. Jim Harbaugh even appeared on it once, but I digress. So sorry, go ahead.
Well, everything is pointing up. Everything is pointing good.
Good.
I'm getting ready for a nice
nothing can affect
off-season.
the Rock's bank status, bank statements in a negative way. That's all I care about.
He hasn't really even been doing much. It's been mostly Moose Johnson this year.
I think I lost. Did I lose?
Did I get muted? I think I'm still here.
You're still there. I think maybe my headphones got messed up. By the way, guys, if you're watching at home, and I recommend you do tune into our YouTube channel. Jim has got a big bruise on his forehead. And what's the explanation for that again, Jim?
Right here.
Yeah.
So my girl. Oh, God. So my girlfriend got this cupping set from her mom. We were messing around with it. Put it on her back and my back and everything. I can show you my back too for all the ones I did back there. I think some of them are pretty dark.
Yeah.
But I decided to say fuck it, and I put one of them on my forehead because I thought it'd be funny. And it just looks like a big old. It looks like I got hit with a piece of hail or a ball.
Yeah, it's funny. The first time I really saw that was when Michael Phelps would always have those bruises all over his body from that.
So here's what my back looks like. I don't know if you can really tell.
Yeah, those are dark too. You'd think they're birthmarks if you didn't know better.
Yeah, the ones on my upper back. They're pretty messed up.
That's nuts.
She said I had a lot of toxins in my shoulder area.
Wait, your girlfriend diagnosed you with this?
That we looked up what it means when it's dark.
Toxins is just the most generic term you can use for any ailment in the body.
I think cupping is something you can get a chiropractor too, so it's not really medical. It did feel nice. A lot of athletes do it. You can see it in the NBA too. There's a lot of athletes that have the cupping bruises on it. It's a very common practice. I don't know if there's any stats on how well it's actually been studied in a lab as far as benefits go, but I just know that it felt good. Even on the forehead. I knew it was going to be dumb. I got people at work were telling me about it all day, asking what the hell happened.
It is funny. Did you tell them? Did you make up any good stories for it?
No, I just told them about the cupping.
Oh, come on. You got to fucking come up with something.
Well, it's hard to do with the forehead. If I had one here or anywhere else on my body that was visible, the forehead, I don't know. If I walked into something, just walked into a door.
Yeah.
That's all I got for that one.
That would be good and believable.
And we started the streams up again this weekend. I took 2 weeks off streaming and we started the streams back up. So that's what all this garbage here is. I haven't cleaned up yet since Sunday.
You can't throw bottles away.
I've been very lazy. I haven't been home until this morning since Sunday. I spent the Memorial Day over at the girls' place.
Yeah.
So I left Sunday, left all my garbage here, and then now it's just waiting.
Okay, good. It was
I had to keep it for the sports hole.
right. You did. You got to live that life. You can't let people think you're growing up now that you're in a mature relationship now.
You're damn right.
Speaking of mature, Maddie is probably taking a shit right now.
Yeah, he said 2 minutes. I knew that was a lie.
Right. It's
In
2
an
minutes.
airport
He's got a
bathroom?
board in like 35 minutes here. So we'll see how much of the show we actually get out of him. I'm not really sure what to cover yet because, well, we'll start with college because you're a big college guy like myself. And so the
yes.
big news this week was the NCAA is now letting schools pay players directly.
Yes, which is crazy.
So this is nuts. This is, it's kind of weird. Even though players were able to make money from name, image, likeness, they weren't particularly employees of the school, and now they could be considered that. I don't know how they're going to classify this. It's got to be straight employment, especially for these people making six figures, if not seven.
I would think it has to be. I know it. So I don't think this changes. I mean, obviously it changes the NIL. Based because like now as fans, you're not entirely bankrolling your school's entire like athletic department.
Well, NIL also, is just general endorsements too.
Yes.
And it is weird. Do you think boosters still contribute after this? Because it's kind of weird. Now they are professionals, right?
I think 100%.
Okay. I'm not sure. I think if I was a booster, I'm like, okay, well, you're paying people now. I don't need to do this anymore. So to me, it feels like it's created a new gray area for that. Not like it matters one bit for the players, but I just kind of feel like if I was a booster, I'm like, okay, you're now just a straight business. You're not even pretending to be like some traditional thing anymore.
No, I mean, I feel like the big boosters will still pay NIL to the top players. So, spoiler alert, the top players will still want to go to the schools that spend the most on NIL, which also just happens to be the top school. Like this probably doesn't change a ton, but like who gets who. I am wondering how this affects like schools in say the MAC or the G5.
Well, there's a lot of interesting shit going on with this, especially when it comes to Title IX, because they have to have an equal amount of men's and women's sports. And a lot of the women's sports and other smaller men's sports were funded by football.
Yes.
So all that excess income they weren't using to pay players was going towards propping up these other sports. And now that they're going to pay players, and now that the players will probably unionize at some point as well. And it's just going to be very bizarre. And I'm not sure how much longer the NCAA can even exist at this point.
Well, the weirdest part of it is all the back pay for students who were playing.
Oh, that's
before,
right. So explain
that too.
Can you explain that to me?
I've been reading so many articles about it, and it's still nothing is like concrete of what that means. But it looks like over the course of the last 14 years, they have what it says right here on the NBC article, it's a $2.8 billion settlement, which would be paid out to over the next decade to 14,000 former and current student athletes.
Billion. And
is that for reparations?
Yes, it's reparations for
college athletes.
Yeah. Maddie, so we're talking about now how the NCAA can how schools can just pay players directly now. So that was a decision that came out last week, and we're kind of talking about how that's going to reshape things. But it probably won't reshape things, but it matters because a lot of the other sports were just kept afloat by the money.
So there is a cap though, Luke. There's a $21 million cap per year per school for all athletics.
Whoa.
For all athletics.
Yes, but the schools can divvy it up however they want.
Okay.
what does a star quarterback get? Like Shadur Sanders, like $6 million a year or something.
Well, the thing is, you could probably still like that's where NIL still comes into it. You'll still get the big boys because NIL doesn't have a cap. Those guys will probably get paid like a star quarterback will still get paid probably the max that they can pay, the school can pay, and then NIL just on top of it.
I'm going to say this too. I think this is the best thing to happen to the NFL. And here's why. Because a lot of these players just play for that first paycheck, that first contract, right? Like a lot of them are not going to be the workhorses you expect when you get to the NFL. Basically, their goal is to make it to the NFL, get paid, and then just try to run out the clock, just try to keep going as much as possible. Without necessarily, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume this will also keep kids in school longer.
I think it absolutely will, depending on the sport too. Like in basketball, where there's certain positions, ways of playing that don't translate to the NBA. I'm not quite sure. And there's probably some positions like that in the NFL as well. So it's great for everybody all around, I think, between the two sports organizations, NFL and NCAA. But
it will be fun if big time college teams and basketball stay for 4 years, like the old days. Like it will be fun to see like a Kentucky stick together for 4 years.
Your first year NBA contract will still probably same with the NFL.
The top people, that's just not going to
They're going on.
Go ahead.
Top 10 draft pick in like the NFL is going. Colleges, even with NIL on top of this, will not be able to compete with a top NFL contract. But maybe the junior who was potentially going to be a third rounder, maybe he sticks around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It definitely could sway decisions for later round picks. Michigan's Donovan Edwards could have been probably in the 4th round this year, maybe as a pick, but chose to come back because of NIL, which would probably have paid him the same. But a lot of these players are trying. I just don't think it'll change too much because a lot of these players, the goal for the top players are to get to that second contract in the NFL or the NBA where you really make the big bucks and it isn't capped out for a rookie type of contract.
I will say this too: the bill or the decision that passed, athletes are still technically not employees based off of this decision.
I really want to know what those tax forms are then. I mean, I'm sure they're definitely going to get taxed like employees.
There is still a question whether athletes should be deemed employees of their schools, which the NCAA president and other college sports leaders are trying to fight, obviously. The biggest thing that we're waiting
is so expensive.
It's probably insurance,
workman's
but
comp.
Also, if they're employees, then we're going to get something, I imagine, like collective bargaining with college athletes. Yeah, like a players union for the football players, the basketball players. I assume that'll probably happen eventually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll all unionize at some point anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
that's just
Maddie,
the next
how was
step.
your potty?
Step after step.
Good. I'm nervous, man. I don't know why. I'm freaking out.
So Maddie is participating in the World Series of Poker. What is this? What does this look like, Maddie? How many people participate in this thing?
I'm gonna imagine 2,000. And it's $500 buy-in, but there's no rebuys, so you only get one $500 chance to win.
Okay.
And I imagine if I make money or cash, I'll have to play 12 hours tomorrow, and then it's 2 days. So Thursday, is where the big money is, and we'll see how it goes. I'll take it slow. Relax,
Maddie, if I get there Friday and you're playing in this stupid poker tournament while I'm trying to go watch people make fun of Stuttering John, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, it ends at Thursday. No,
okay.
It says Wednesday and Thursday, so it's gonna end on Thursday.
So if you win this thing, will you cover the whole hotel room?
Yeah, if I win this thing, I'll take you guys out to a sick ass dinner. But
thank you.
We'll see. You can get unlucky, you can get lucky. We'll see what happens.
All right. That's exciting though.
Yeah, very exciting. I'm just like the anxiety of traveling. I haven't flown in years, so it's like weird, and I don't know. I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, so we'll see what happens.
Well,
And
it's
I'm gonna
still
be
there.
there for a while too.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Yeah,
like a whole week. I've never met anybody that went there for a full week. That's
I know. I'm gonna
kind of
be sick as a
nuts.
dog because the air makes me sick after a while. But it's gonna be 96. So, and it was good. The NBA championship starts probably when we're there. Perhaps if it
No, that
all
doesn't
ends
start till
tonight.
like
So,
June 6th, I think.
oh, then it's a big break. Okay, but
Oh.
it'll be fun. We'll have a great time. We'll go to the Punk Rock Museum. We'll
Yeah.
eat some good food, really some bad food. We'll watch some funny shit at Hackamania, and we'll take it from there.
No, it's gonna be fascinating.
If I
So
can get on the plane.
speaking of plane rides, you guys remember the
Yeah,
plane ride from hell on Dark Side of the Ring?
hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a new one. There's a new
Oh
plane
no.
ride from hell.
Really?
Guess
What
what? The
happened?
bad guy in this one, former Jacksonville Jaguars kicker Brandon McManus.
Oh
Harrison
no.
Buckner, get the fuck over. There's a new bad boy kicker in
What is
town.
with these kickers?
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
never heard of these kickers being badass.
Kickers are coming up, man. Move over wide
Yeah, they're being
receivers. There's a
badass.
new diva position here
Pat
that
McAfee really
demands the
paved the way.
spotlight.
McAfee really
Mhm.
paved the way for all
McAfee
these
paved the
kickers.
way. Yeah. So this guy, Brandon McManus, is being sued along with the Jaguars by two women who accuse McManus of rubbing himself against them and grinding against them
Ooh.
during this plane ride. They also accused the Jaguars of failing to supervise McManus and create a safe environment for the staff while they were serving the team.
So this is during team
This is
flight.
during
This
team
is during a
flight.
team flight.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, it's pretty funny though, because this guy was basically offering
Grinding.
$100 to different staff members to like twerk and things like.
You know what? Do what you
Wow,
want,
he
man.
must have
Do what
been
you got to
loaded.
do.
I know.
He must
I
have been
mean, if somebody
absolutely
offered me
loaded.
$100 to twerk at work, I would do it. I would be
I
ashamed.
would also do it. I would also be ashamed.
And I would take the $100 and I would go have fun with it. And
He
that's
must
How
it.
have been
how
so
like
loaded.
perpetually horny do you have to be to do that on like a team flight?
That's insane.
I don't know if you have to be
Insane.
necessarily horny, just drunk, maybe.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. It
Mhm.
could just be a whole
I
drunk deal.
think
I
it was
think he was
like one of
wasted
the
off
like
his
coming
mind.
back from like it was coming back from London, or yeah, it was coming
Well,
from
there you
London.
go.
So that's like a 5
Cut
hour
the London
flight.
games. Cut
What's
the
that?
London games. Cut the
Yeah, it
London
was
games.
yeah, it was coming back from the London games. And
So
then
cut
so of
them.
course it's a private charter, and the girls are mad because they worked their way up to get on that Jaguars flight and be part of that crew, and then they haven't been asked back since then. And
Well,
they're
like
you know,
a major lawsuit, right?
yeah, well, they're only asking for $1 million, which is pretty light by
That's nothing.
today's standards.
That is pretty
It
reasonable.
is really
That's a
nothing.
bargain.
So, yeah, and this guy signed a $3.6 million contract with the Commanders this year. We'll see if that holds, especially with all these UFL
Depends how good
kickers
he can kick. If you can
coming out of
kick, you're gonna keep your job.
yeah. Everybody's shocked he
Simple as
didn't
that.
sign with the Browns,
No.
but
Well, it's
You-
okay. The
Wild
Commanders
story.
are known for like keeping controversy close. Like they don't deal with controversy. It's fine. Ever.
That's a wild ass story though. I never heard kickers being so awful. This is like a new thing.
I told you, Matty McAfee paved the way.
It's like they're the new wide receiver diva position.
yeah, it's exactly what it is, man. It
Wild
very
story.
got sad news. We say goodbye to a legend. Bill Walton died.
Ugh.
Oh, he was the
it
best.
yesterday or today? Yeah, it was
Very funny. Very funny.
yeah, there's a big
He
void
died
in
yesterday.
this world now. Yesterday.
Yeah, it really is.
Just like one of those guys you just kind of thought would be around forever. Just sort of was always there with just fantastic
Well,
commentary all the
He's
time.
one of those guys because he's not a great commentary, but he's so great because he's funny.
The
But he
vibes.
doesn't really talk about the game, which is amazing.
Well, it's
he's
good
hysterical,
because
but he
like,
doesn't.
a
Yeah,
lot of games get boring and then he's super
yeah.
entertaining when it does.
He was super entertaining. When
I
he
mean, he
asked
would
Dave Pash if he ever been into a volcano, that was the best.
like late. I remember watching a late '90s Pistons game, and it'd be like, "See, this is where they need a guy like Lambeer to come in and just start a fight." And just like for a commentator to suggest a team just start fighting is pretty fucking awesome. And
Yeah, he would ask weird questions. He asked Dave Pash if he ever been into a volcano. So if you ever been to the storm of volcano, and then he was just like conference of champions, the Pac-12 no longer. So as
Yeah,
he
he's the
passed
world the
away, so
world's
is the
biggest
Pac-12.
Pac-12 fan.
yeah, absolutely, as he should be. I mean, they ran the table with UCLA back in the day.
Well, we live in a world where there's no Pac-12 and
There's
no Bill
no
Walton, and it's
Pac-12
sad.
anymore, and they were the conference of champions too because they also produced a lot of Olympic athletes as well. A lot of gold medal
Guy was
champions.
going to Grateful Dead concerts to the day he died.
Yeah, pretty amazing. He had cancer, no idea. But again,
I have
it's one of
friends who have pictures of being at the Dead shows and him and like his body because he's in front of them and he's so big. And it's like, look, I got Bill Walton.
Yeah, I mean, it would be bizarre. Imagine you're all like fucked up on acid and mescaline, and
You see Bill Walton.
then you just see this giant redhead, and you're like, "Wait, I know that guy." Like, yes,
Yes.
her. Just
It was
amazing
great.
life. I always love people that accelerate excel in a couple different fields. Like he was an outstanding basketball
Great player.
and would have been an all-timer too had I mean, he was in college, but in the NBA, had he
Got
not
hurt a
gotten
lot.
hurt, would probably be someone you speak of more often, as far as career goes. And it's just cool that you could be such a great basketball player and a great speaker and author and entertainer overall. And Maddie and I say this a lot, but they just don't make them like that anymore. And
They really don't.
no, in a
One of a
world where
kind.
everything is homogenized and controlled before and censored before it's put out in this world, he had no filter and just was a
True
delight.
legend, true American original. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
A legend and an American original. Just a one of a kind soul of uniqueness, sense of humor, laughter. Great player, but just like a different type of guy.
Yeah, just entertaining from day one, and will never be forgotten by those who were
No,
blessed enough to either watch him play or listen to his commentary or both. So we had some interesting news today. Cool news. The Major League Baseball Association, or the MLB, is now declaring that the Negro League records count towards their records too.
Okay.
So everything changes.
Everything changes. So someone like Ty Cobb, who was not necessarily a friend to the black man, now his records are being passed by a guy named Josh Gibson.
I always thought Josh Gibson was a pitcher.
That's kind of
funny. No, that's Bob Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't familiar with Josh Gibson for this, but yeah, so there's a lot of records. A lot of records are being updated now, which is cool because if you have a segregated league, and it's not like it was a minor league, it was a segregated league. So you had equal and better players playing in the Negro leagues during this time, which sucks. I mean, it's just, imagine taking MLB and dividing it in half right now. It would, or any professional league. It just is terrible and really lowers the competition. So it's cool. I think this is a good move. Maddie, do you think this is you think this is good? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these players weren't allowed to play with the best, and they weren't allowed to compete, and they deserve to get their recognition.
Yeah.
So,
and it's saying this is not, it wasn't a minor league. It's a freaking separate pro league.
They were pros.
Yeah. And so this is cool. It's good to see.
I think that's awesome for the MLB. It's nice to see some good news from the MLB.
Right. I heard Angel Hernandez retired. Everybody hates him as an umpire. I don't know if that's true.
I did see
he was
that.
Like the most hated ump, but I heard
he was
retired.
no
Maybe
angel.
That was a practical joke, maybe. I don't know.
Also, probably the whitest looking guy named Angel Hernandez too, by the way.
So he's
Yes.
a very hated man.
He looks like one of my dad's friends.
There's
Maybe it
video after
is.
video of him missing calls and then flipping out after missing calls, like throwing guys out after missing a call, like calling the guy out strike three with a ball foot off the plate, and then
Yeah,
tossing the guy.
I like that. It's like a schizophrenic behind home plate.
It's like Danny Davis, who was the evil ref in the WWF in the 80s, a little before Jim's time.
The evil ref. The evil ref. Okay, we got a little bit of a shortened show today because Maddie's got to board a plane in a little bit here. And we're starting to run out of sports, quite frankly, too.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's a slow time.
so as it stands right now, the Celtics in the
They're in.
the Mavs. Celtics are in. They're in the finals. The Mavs and the Timberwolves are fighting in game 4. So I'm not sure where it's at right now, but you guys will find out. It's
It
basically
wasn't close.
It's 50,
it's a 1-point game in the
58 right now.
Yeah, 1-point game in the third. So hopefully Dallas can close this
It
out
just
because
feels like the T-Wolves can't figure out how to close these games. So it's like they could be up 3-zip easily. They're down 3-zip, and it's like the better veteran team with Luka.
The problem is too is it's like if both teams are closing out, you got two of the best closers in the league.
Sure.
And
Luka's the
Anthony
best player.
Edwards,
Luka and Kyrie.
Anthony Edwards, was declared the next Jordan about 10 days ago, and now
He's slowing down.
He's having a good game, but this guy just has a lot more work to do. Let's put it that
Look,
way.
he's gonna get better, but he's probably ahead of schedule. But
I think
he's slowed down
just
in this series.
And he's got to work more off the ball too.
Yeah.
I was watching a clip from Michael Jordan that, they asked him why he didn't shoot threes. And his explanation was because if the people that shoot threes often just kind of hang out by the 3-point line, aren't active in the game. They're just sort of sitting there waiting. And I like to be active. I like to go for it and go get it. And I can really see that with Anthony Edwards right now. When he doesn't have the ball, he's just kind of hanging out a lot.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is to be compared to Jordan. It's very hard. He's a great player. He's got a great future. He's only going to get better. But to be compared to the top guy of all time is tough.
Yeah,
and then you start getting judged by Jordan, and it's
there's
hard.
A few things too. Is athleticism definitely you can see that, and it's kind of the way he handles the ball and the smile and the swagger. I think that also reminds people of Jordan a lot. But
still, you're comparing to the best guy ever.
Yes,
you can still be a great
and
player
I think
not be the best ever.
Last series, because they took down the champs too, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy is the second coming. But it just goes to show you, even when you have everything, you still got to put it all together.
I think winning Game 7 took a lot out of them because they had to beat the defending champions down by 20 with maybe 15 minutes to go, which is impressive. And I think that took a lot out of them. I don't know if they have much left.
But you remember this guy's 22, so he should have a better motor on him, I think. But this is the farthest he's been.
They could easily win these games. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these games they could have won, but again, Luka is determined.
He's the best player in the playoffs right now.
He really is.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, this pairing between Luka and Kyrie, I think a lot of people didn't think this was going to work at all, and it didn't look like it was.
I didn't think it was going to work.
Well, you have two guys who need the ball a lot, and they've somehow made it work.
I think Kyrie realized that he could be 1B and let Luka be 1A because Luka is 1A, and Kyrie's playing really, really well and doing what he needs to do. And
I hope that Kyrie's older.
Basketball.
Well, Kyrie said after the All-Star break, he's like, I just kind of saw what we needed to do and what I needed to do as a player. And the moment he started becoming pass first and getting more active, it's just made all the difference. And Luka and him have been playing fantastic defense too. So I think this is a team that could go all the way. Maddie, how do you like this team against Boston if they do end up beating the Timberwolves?
I think it's absolutely even right now. I think it's so even. But the way the Celtics are lucking out, I feel like Kyrie's going to get hurt, and the Celtics are going to have an easier path. But right now, healthy, both teams, it's like 7 games, flip a coin, game
Uh,
7. I think they're so evenly matched. I think
it
Luke is
is
the best player, which helps Dallas, but Boston has a very solid all around roster.
well, and it's just fantastic drama too with Kyrie going back to
Oh yeah,
Boston
Yes.
coming
too.
back.
That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
Do you
So
think he
let's hope they
stomps
just
on Lucky?
maybe.
yeah.
It's gonna be
We'll
hard this
see.
time because last time he was such favorites, So it's easy to do it because they were favorites. But like,
Uh-huh.
I think he's over that stuff. He's over like that weird attention. So he's focused on the game, and you don't want to make more of like the drama and the television garbage that they would make it out to be. So I
No,
think
I
he'll be
don't
like,
think he
look,
would participate in anything new, but Boston fans definitely will.
they don't forget. But
No.
it's the Boston players like him. They all like him a lot. So
Yeah, they
I feel
stood
like
up for
every
him
player
when
in the
yeah,
NBA loves the guy.
yeah.
yeah, pretty much he's a like guy.
Well, it's one of those things too, where even when he says something dumb as hell, you're like, oh, Kyrie, what are you doing? But like, you're just like, he just
Well, he's
seems
having a
lovable.
very good year and a great playoffs.
Yeah.
So
Like you
like
don't
more
feel
power
like
to him.
I don't feel like he's ever been malicious. I feel like he's just been stupid.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
true. I see that. I think that's what a lot of other people see too. So we'll see. So we
Can
watched.
one more thing though. I
Yeah.
do have to say, watching the Mavs play is hilarious. Like the way Luca is always chirping the refs and always going in on the refs is hilarious to me. Constant.
Oh,
Constantly
I
doing
he's
hate
a
that because I
competitive
love
guy.
Luca, but I always
constant.
hate that. I hate that. I mean,
He's a competitive
he
guy.
like turns automatically every time he goes foul.
Every
Foul.
time
Like
foul, like
he doesn't
every
even
time
look like his
foul,
heart's
travel on
into
the
it.
other
He's
team
like foul, foul.
before the shot even goes in.
Yeah,
Like he's
I don't
ready.
even believe this, but I'm trained to say foul after this.
I think
So,
he just loves to yell at refs.
yeah, it's pretty funny just abusing the refs like that. So Maddie and I watched this documentary last week, and Maddie is an East Coaster, so he's much more closer to the situation. It is the
The
Bronx
Bronx,
Zoo
1990.
90. It was based off a book talking
Would
about
you read
not
the first one, or did you
what's
just watch
that?
the first
I
one?
watched all
How
three of
many did
them
you watch?
shows.
Did you enjoy?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Even though it had
Yeah,
salacious moments in it, it was not as salacious as I thought it was going to be.
it's pretty salacious.
It was salacious, especially, but
The
when you've
Mel Hall
watched a
stuff is
million
pretty
Dark Side of
wild.
the Rings, it's sort of like,
That
okay.
is true. Yeah,
I
it's like a
think they should
mid
have just
Dark
brought Jim
Side.
Cornette in to make remarks about these guys. Would have upped the
Yeah.
entertainment
Yeah, they
value a
just
little
bring
bit.
Jim Cornette for every documentary and just give him like a
Well, I
Maddie,
think
can you give us sort of
I
a
think one of
brief
the
script.
rundown of this
well,
series and what you
well,
liked
just say
about it?
like, yeah. Well, the Yankees are the big franchise in baseball, the tradition, the pinstripes, the dynasties, and they're kind of like you've heard all the stories of Mantle, Maris, to Jeter, to Thurman Munson, to Reggie. This story ain't it, and it's about a 1990, a last place team. You're like, okay, I'm gonna watch a doc about a last place team, but the team was such a wreck, and it was such a disaster that it was fascinating, and it had such crazy, awful, bizarro characters, and George Steinbrenner that was absolutely failing as an owner, and pretty much was the GM and pretty much destroyed the team with all his stupid moves. And they just had a terrible roster with one star, Don Mattingly, and a bunch of malcontents. And it
So
gets
let's
into
why
some of
don't
these
you go
guys.
through and talk about some of the highlights you liked on this one?
Well, it starts out with Billy Martin dying of alcohol, and he was a big drinker, and he was probably going to be the manager for the 6th time if he didn't die in a car accident on Christmas. So it starts with that, and then it starts with a lot of these. They signed this guy Pascal Perez, who's a pitcher from the
Oh
Dominican
yeah.
Republic, who was an absolute disaster, who just decides to show up when he wants to. So
He was a
everybody's
tall,
like, "This
skinny
guy's a
guy with a
yeah,
big jerry curl too.
Jerry Curl."
Yeah.
Yeah, so Steinbrenner hasn't pitched at night when he gets there to prove that he can pitch, and he basically screws his arm up by doing that. It's like, why do you have this guy who just got off the plane throw 100 pitches at 8 o'clock at night, and he blows out his arm a couple starts later? So he's out, and you got this guy Bell Hall, who's an outfielder, who's dating a 15-year-old girl, which is crazy, and
Talk
basically
talk talk about
goes to
that
her
the timeline of
prom.
that.
Well, he takes her to her prom, and at the time, the Yankee yearbook put the prom picture in their yearbook. So it's like a grown ass man with a 15-year-old girl. And it's just wild.
Yeah, times were very
And
different.
yeah, so you got that. Also, he brought two cougar cats to the clubhouse, and they
And we're
pissed
not
all
talking
over the
about
clubhouse.
53-year-old women. No, we're talking
Yeah.
about the jungle
Now
cat.
on the field they stunk, and one of the biggest memories for me was Andy Hawkins. He threw a no hitter and lost 4-zip. Like, not only did he throw a no hitter, he lost 4-zip, which is absolutely incredible. I've seen guys lose no hitters 1-0. I've never seen them lose 4-0. They finished 30-40 under 500. Then there was a Dave Winfield thing where Steinbrenner signed him for like 10 years, this huge contract. And at
He
the
didn't
time,
realize it was a huge contract. There was all
yeah,
these stipends in it that Steinbrenner didn't realize he
exactly.
was giving him.
And the way it worked back then was there, instead of Twitter, there was the back pages. So the back page of the newspaper is where you would get the quote, and it was pretty. There was no holding back. It was like Steinbrenner says the Yankees stink. Steinbrenner says Winfield is this. So when the Yankees won the World Series in 1981, Dave Winfield batted 049, and he called him Mr. May, which was a shot because Reggie Jackson was called Mr. October. And he said that. Like, imagine an owner saying that about a player now. So what
Yeah.
happened there was this gambler that worked with Winfield and his charity was like hundreds of thousands of debt with the mafia and calls up Steinbrenner, like cold call. And like, I have information on Winfield about it. He's like embezzling money in his charity. And Steinbrenner paid the guy. And because of that, the guy went public because he didn't get all his money. And they kicked Steinbrenner out of baseball. And it was a massive scandal that an owner paid money to get inside information on a player to get out of a contract. It wouldn't be, this is like, would never happen today. You know, it's so insane. So the funny thing is the guy's like a real sleazebag gambler. And he's like, I am responsible for the Yankees dynasty in the 90s. And he kind of is, because Steinbrenner gets kicked out of baseball. They bring in this guy named Gene Michael to run the team. And instead of just trading and signing shitty old players, they draft. And they draft Posada, Jeter, Pettit, and Mariano Rivera all in 2 years. And it just changes the franchise. So the guy
nuts.
is kind of right. But the
Yeah.
stories about Mel Hall, Pascal Perez, just like the dysfunction in the clubhouse.
And
They had this shitty manager named Stump Merrill that was this big fat loser guy. It's pretty fucking funny. It was fascinating. I watched it and I was like, oh, this will be like just I won't even pay attention. And then I just got with the Steinbrenner, with the Mel Hall shit, like it grabs.
It's insane because it's a great. It encapsulates an era very well. Shit you would never ever see today.
No.
Well, how about the crazy thing about the Mel Hall thing is he moves in with the girl and her parents, and somehow the parents move into her bedroom, and she moves in with Mel Hall into her bedroom. It's insane.
Imagine, no, it's like those it's like those parents that just gave their kids to Michael Jackson. Essentially, they're like, "Oh, it's MJ, cool."
Oh, he's got to be nice, the celebrity. And Mel Hall's in prison doing 40 years for other pedophilia bullshit, like crazy stuff.
Oh, he went as young as like 12 too. Like,
it also goes into him bullying one of the Yankees' favorite players. Bernie Williams was a rookie that year, and he was a prospect. And he used to make him cry. It makes Bernie look really good because Mel Hall.
Well, Bernie seems like such a great guy, anyways.
Oh, such a great guy. And he would call him Zero.
So every time jazz musician too.
Yeah, he went to my college to do music.
Did
or
he?
Anal Cunt played. Yeah, because it was right by Yankee Stadium.
Did he did he guest with Anal Cunt? Did he do a little jazz solo?
No, but the thing about
that's what Anal Cunt was missing.
Yeah.
So every time Bernie would talk, Mel Hall would just say, "Shut up, Zero. Shut up, Zero." So every time he spoke, he would just call him zero, whatever that meant. But it made Bernie cry a few times, and they had to be like, "You got to stop bullying this guy." I mean, that's how insane it was.
Oh my
It was such a
yeah.
ridiculous. And like you see the player, like Buck Showalter was the third base coach, and he's had a lot of success as a manager. He's like, it was a fucking disaster, and
Yeah.
to get these guys on time, it was like there was no rules. And then you got the owner, you got him like on tape talking to this gangster, about money that he's owed. And like, I don't know you shit. It's all on tape, which is nuts.
It is funny too when you see this gambling addict on there too, who's
Yeah.
like, I never lie. I never
Oh, that
lie.
was the best.
Like, what
Yeah, he
addict
goes, I never
doesn't
lie.
lie? That's all addicts do is lie so they can feed their fucking addictions.
But it is amazing that he took credit for the Yankees dynasty.
I've
Like, he's
done
like, I
more
am the
for the
reason.
Yankees without picking up a baseball bat than
Yeah,
Steinbrenner or anybody. Like, it was really funny.
exactly.
Also, a good
I
caveat,
read,
Jim, Coach Prime was on that team too.
yeah, he was on that team.
Deion Sanders was on the
And
1990
you could
Yankees.
tell that the
How did that
players,
work? He was only there
you
for
could
a
tell the
year.
players hated him. Yeah,
Was he?
he wanted to be a two-sport guy like Bo.
Yeah.
And back in the day, there was a lot of articles how he wasn't Bo. Like, they're like, he's an idiot. He can't play baseball. Nobody doubted he could play football, but he wasn't a great baseball player. And on the Yankees, he was really bad, but he had the Dion kind of swagger from the playing on the Falcons, and he stunk. And he was like, he was a rock star before, but he couldn't hit. That was the thing. And
Right.
you hear the players talk about it, and they don't have very kind words to say about it. They're
No.
like he didn't live up to the hype, and he was a pain in the butt. He didn't participate in this, so probably not the best years. He was a kid. He was probably like 22, but they
Right.
go off like a series between the Royals and the Yankees when it was like Bo versus Dion, and Bo
Right.
beat the fuck out of him. Bo hit
Yeah.
like 3 home runs that were like 800 feet, and Dion got one lucky like inside the park home run, but that was it. But Bo killed
Yeah.
him.
It's fascinating though. It's just another like minor thing with that 90 team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
No.
it was like the beginning of Dion, and at the time, like there was a lot more racism. So like when you were a flashy black baseball player, it wasn't
Oh
like
yeah.
you were like it was more like you're disrespecting the game, because there's a famous play with Carlton Fisk is like this old school catcher, and Dion didn't run a ground ball out,
Yeah.
and Carlton let him know about it, and it got like
Oh, I
Carlton
saw
was like,
that.
you run the fucking bases, and Dion was like, slave days are over, and then it became a brawl, and it's like nowadays
Well,
everybody was
Fisk
on
said
Carlton
that it
Fisk's
wasn't a
side.
racist thing. It's like respect the sport,
No,
you fuck.
yeah, yeah. But nowadays, Carlton Fisk would have been hammered for that, just because
Oh yeah.
things have changed a lot. But
Disrespect. Jamel Hill is writing an article on it
yeah,
as we speak.
I was gonna say
I'm
she's
sure.
got one
Yeah,
dialed up.
Yeah.
but it brought me back because I was 14 when that happened, and all my friends were Yankee fans, and it reminded me of like watching those games on television, and like seeing Mel Hall and seeing it was like this like baseball player, not knowing what the fuck he was doing off the field. It's crazy.
I think he's got brain damage or something. He talks like someone with
He's all fucked up.
CTE.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. And he doesn't, he's like, when they asked him about the relationship, he's just like, you see all these older actors dating younger women, and like we were just ahead of our time.
Yeah, he don't get it. He really don't get it still. It was amazing
It
he
is
went into prison.
bizarre.
He interviewed him
It's
too.
just like, yeah. I mean, I guess if he doesn't believe it's a crime, he'll never have to feel guilty about it or anything.
Yeah, well, he is where he belongs, so there's that. But
Yeah.
it was I thought you would enjoy it because I don't know if you're the biggest baseball fan, but this was more like life and
No,
about
I was a
people
huge
and
baseball
scandal.
fan growing
Yeah,
up, so I remember all these guys.
sure.
Yeah, but I didn't. It is funny to watch these things years later and go, "Oh, that's what was going on at this
Right?
Yep.
time with these
Yeah,
Behind the
like
scenes.
behind the curtain.
Yeah, and it was cool to
Mhm.
see how they turned it around and got the draft picks and acquired players that
And
became.
that's when they got rid of Steinbrenner. That's like when they brought baseball people in to run it, and there is some truth to it. So that gangster is not completely wrong that when George left, their philosophy of how they ran the team completely changed. So there is truth to that.
It is crazy though too how he ended up firing the stick man guy, uh, who like
He fired
single.
everybody though.
I know, but that guy
It's
was
like
the GM that really put everybody
I know
in place.
there
Put all
was
the
times with Joe Torre, like Joe Torre had a dynasty, and they would go like they'd lose like 3 out of 4 in July, and you'd hear Steinbrenner like these guys better get the shape up or whatever. There's going to be changes. You're like every team goes through losing streaks. You're 30 over 500,
yeah,
but that's how he was. He was a psychopath.
that's pretty funny. Jim,
I
check
mean,
it out when you get a chance. Yeah.
Nowadays nobody would want to play for him. Like nobody would want to play for George
No, he
just
would probably
because.
get canceled for his antics too.
Yeah,
You know, like
owners
you
can't
can't be
do
an
what
abusive boss
he does.
anymore. Can't
No,
be a dick.
absolutely
Yeah,
not.
so Bronx 90, it's on Peacock. Check it out because it's
Recommend, highly recommend.
yeah, and it's not super long. It's just 3 episodes and they go by real fast. It's
It's a lot of
pretty
fun.
interesting nugget in sports history. All right,
Yeah.
guys, I know Maddie's got to jump on a flight here. Anything else you want to add
Yep, they're
before we
about
wrap
to
it up?
call my thing. I'll see you in Vegas. Much love to you
All
guys,
right,
and I'll
buddy.
take a lot of videos.
You guys have a good
Good
hackathon.
luck. Keep me
We
posted.
will.
And we'll see you guys
Hackamania 2024.
Have a good
Next week.
hackamania, baby.
for another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. Let it out.
Hackamania recap.
Coming up next
Definitely.
week.